For this craft, of course, you'll need toilet paper. Paper from recycled paper works best. You'll also need water, preferably in a squirt bottle. That makes it easiest to use. You might want to have a paper towel on hand just because the water could spill, and you'll need a tray. So first you start by tearing off a few squares of toilet paper. The sculptures I'm making today are pretty small, so it didn't require a lot. Then I am going to wet my toilet paper. Now you can do it one of two ways. To start off, you'll want to put water in your tray and lay the tissue paper on top of it. And just get it wet enough that you can kind of work with it, but not so wet that it falls apart. Then we're going to bunch it up. Now to start your sculpture, probably you want to start with a ball, no matter what you're making. It's easy to start with that shape. So I'm getting it a little bit more wet with my spray bottle, just so that it is nice and pliable, and then mushing it into that ball shape. I decided to make some toilet paper sculptures of animals today, but you can make whatever you like. You can sculpt food, you can sculpt flowers, you can try to sculpt people, whatever interests you, but know that we are making small sculptures today, and that the larger or taller that you make, the more effort might be required. And if you have a really tall sculpture, then you might want to include some wire to help hold up your structure of your sculpture. Here you can see I'm squirting water directly on the paper, which is the other way to wet it. Alright, so to continue my build, I've made one ball, and now I'm going to make a second larger ball. These are going to be part of my dog sculpture. The first ball shape that I made I will use for the dog's head, and this kind of oblong shape that I'm making now will be the dog's body. To make the sculpture bigger, I just add more pieces of toilet paper, kind of wrapping and wetting and squeezing as you go. I have the body the shape I want, so I'm going to attach the head. So to do this, I'm going to tear narrow pieces of toilet paper, get them wet, and kind of wrap them around any place I want a joint to be. Now it's going to take more than one piece of this because otherwise the joint will be too flimsy. So I want to wrap that, tuck down all the edges, and wrap it again. And just do that until I feel like the head is securely attached to the body. As I'm going to want to test my sculpture because I want my sculpture to be able to stand up on its own when I'm done. So every now and again, I'm going to set it down on the tray and make sure that the bottom is flat enough for it to stand up without help. Next, I'm going to build the muzzle of my dog. So to do that, I made another small ball of toilet paper, and then using the same method as before, attached it to the head of the dog and kind of wrapped it around with more pieces until it was secure to the head. Now I was satisfied with the muzzle, I moved on to the ears. So this took even smaller pieces of toilet paper, kind of folded flat, and then if I get them damp enough, I can kind of mold them into that ear shape that I want to see, and then attach them to the head of the dog. And again, I'm going to have to use extra strips of toilet paper to kind of wrap the ears in place. Kind of push down on it, almost like a bandage, and then just tuck under any little stray edges of paper that are sticking up. Okay, I've got my first ear done and attached, and now I'm going to make the second ear using the exact same process. Alright, now my little dog has 2 ears, so I'm going to move on to his tail. To make the tail, I took another small piece of toilet paper and kind of twisted it around and rolled it until it was the right tail length and shape. And then, same process as before, using other pieces of toilet paper that I wet down to hold that in place. Now that I am satisfied with my dog's tail, I'm going to make him the last piece of his body 2 small front paws. So I'm just making really tiny little balls of toilet paper that I will kind of tuck under the front of his body like this, and then use more toilet paper pieces to attach those. Using the same process, I also made a little sleeping cat sculpture and a little bird sculpture as well. Now you have to set these out to dry for a really long time. I set mine out for 2 full nights before they were completely dry and ready to paint. You don't have to paint your sculptures, you could leave them just like this if you want. But I decided to paint mine. I used acrylic paints. I tried watercolor paints, but that tended to make the paper too damp. You want to be sparing with your paint because, again, too much moisture and the sculpture will start to disintegrate. I used black paint to add some details to my dog, like a nose and an eye. He has a spot on one eye. I made his ears black and added some more spots around his body. And then I gave him a red collar and a little red tongue. And here are my final pet masterpieces, all made with just toilet paper, water, and paint. If you'd like to experience more bathroom-inspired creations, check out the titles on the accompanying book list about bathrooms and bathroom accessories. Thanks for watching!